Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this channel has mostly been about my whole pregnancy journey with my third baby. And if you have been here for a while, you saw in my last video that I wanted to give you guys a complete birth story of having her. So that's what this is. I am finally able to get around to it. But first, this is, well, you can't really see her face. She's mad at me because I'm messing with her. This is little Olivia. In the camera, it looks like she has really big cheeks, but they're really not that big. So Olivia was born at 36 weeks and 1 day. She spent almost 3 weeks in the NICU. She just got home. So she was born February 13th and she just got home last Tuesday. So almost a week ago. And it was very difficult having her in there. This was my second baby that had ended up in the NICU. And it's not an easy journey, especially when you've got 2 other kids at home that need you and you're trying to divide your time between being at the hospital with her to try and, help her progress to get out of there, and then trying to be here for them. And it was very hard. And then with my husband having to go back to work, it was hard on him because he was having to take care of the kids at night because I wasn't here, and then getting up early in the morning and going to work all day, and then he didn't get to spend hardly any time with her other than like on the weekends. So he didn't really get to enjoy the beginning stages of her either, but she's home now, and we're very happy about that. So anyways, I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. And I'll be able to enter in some little clips here and there of pictures or videos. And it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited to share this story with you guys. It was not like any birth story that I have had. I was going to say last week, but this was not last week. This was 3 weeks ago. So when I turned 36 weeks, I had actually, it was on a Wednesday, and I had actually made a 36-week pregnancy update video that day for you guys. And the entire day got away from me, and I did not get a chance to edit or upload it. So I had it recorded, and I will show you guys a little clip of that right now. Not too much has really changed, and the things that have changed, I'm going to let you know. I am currently 36 weeks today, and it is Wednesday. So last Saturday, today's Wednesday, and this previous Saturday was my last day of work. So I am not working until after the baby is born. And I have dropped, or she has dropped tremendously. I can feel like every head movement, maybe not everyone, but quite a few head movements, just about everyone. And she's very low, and I haven't been contracting too bad, but I've had a lot of signs or feelings or just things happening that indicates that she is going to be here soon. So the first one being, I just know, a mom knows, and I just know she is going to be here soon. Also, if you look up like signs of labor, which I'm not in active labor, So I don't know if these signs really go hand in hand with what you look up online, but I have had a loss of appetite. I have a really hard time eating. I'll start eating and I'm just like done with it. So I'm eating smaller meals. I have been extremely tired, a lot of fatigue, like almost like first trimester fatigue. I did have a doctor's appointment last Tuesday, and which I believe was the 4th, and I am dilated 1 to 2 centimeters. So there's a little bit of progression there. I don't have anything in my hospital bag yet except for the outfit that the baby's going to be coming home in, and I did buy some pads for coming home and some underwear. But I will do a hospital bag video unless she randomly comes tonight. Then I'm not really contracting too much today, no more than usual. I do feel very heavy down low, and my back is still aching, not as bad as it was last night, but it's still aching. And I have also noticed another sign that you see when you look up signs of early labor or that the baby's going to be here soon or whatever, is that the baby doesn't move as much. And that is what is going on with my baby. She's still moving, so I know she's okay, but her movements are not like they used to be. Stopped gaining weight. I've stayed pretty consistent between 136 and 138 for about the last month or two. And that also says it on there too, that you will get to a point where you stop gaining weight. And okay, so this is huge TMI alert. So if anybody I know that is watching this and you don't want to hear like the really personal nasty things about pregnancy, just skip right on through. But because this is a pregnancy vlog, I feel the need to share this with you. So yes, I am 1 to 2 centimeters. It could be more at this point. It has been a week. But last time I was checked, I was 1 to 2 centimeters. And this morning, which this has not happened to me with either one of my other kids. So it was really kind of interesting to me. I didn't expect it. But I did lose my mucus plug as well. I have lost my mucus plug, and so she really could be coming at some point today. She can come at some point tomorrow or by the end of this week. I did call my doctor's office and let them know how I was feeling last night and about losing that. And they just said, unless my contractions just won't let up no matter what I do, or my water breaks, that it's not necessary to come in, that everything seems about normal, but just to take a bath, take a hot bath, try to relax, drink lots of water. So that's what I'm going to try and do. So I made the video, and in that video, I had told you guys a little TMI moment. That morning I had woken up and found that I had lost my mucus plug, and I have never lost that with either of my other children. And so it was really, I didn't know what to expect of it. I knew that you could go longer. You could finish out the rest of your pregnancy after losing it, but that could also indicate that you're having the baby very soon, within hours or days. So all day long, this was first thing in the morning, all day long, I just went about my day. I didn't feel any different. And my husband kept texting me all day asking, have any contractions started? Do you feel okay? you know, what's, you know, going on. And I didn't have any changes. Everything was fine. But I guess the only changes I did have was the minor contractions that I was having. They did feel a little bit lower, like right between my hip bones, I guess. And they did, I don't want to say they felt stronger, um, or like super painful, but they felt different. Just maybe a little bit more painful, but it wasn't unbearable. So I went about my day, and then right around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when I was picking up my son, I had gotten some contractions that may have felt a little bit more painful, a little bit stronger, and lasted a little bit longer. But, and by no means did I think that I was in labor. I just thought that, you know, I had lost my mucus plug and the time was going to be near, not knowing when that was, and that from this point on, my contractions are going to feel a little bit stronger and may last a little bit longer. So I went home, and my mother-in-law came over for a little bit, and still not really any change. I only had maybe 2 contractions while she was there. And I just kept telling everybody, I don't think it's going to happen today. I really don't. I have felt completely normal all day. No different. I've had some contractions, but nothing that makes me think I'm in labor. And, but the thought was kind of always in the back of my head all day. Like, is this going to happen today? Is it not? And so while I was feeling okay, I was trying to just get a few minor things done around the house, make sure last touches were done on her room, all that we could do before she was born anyway. And then, yeah, I was trying to relax mostly. I didn't want to push myself because 36 weeks is kind of on that cusp of being full term and being premature. So it is still technically premature, but every baby at 36 weeks is different. I have known babies born at 36 weeks that have been perfectly fine and able to go home, perfectly developed, great weight, everything. And then I have also heard of 36 weekers that are not doing so great because they are still considered premature and do end up in the NICU. And so, and as you guys know from previous videos, from the way beginning to the middle to the end, I have always said I do not want any NICU time. I did NICU time with my firstborn, my son, and it was one of the hardest, most painful experiences I had gone through with being a mom, especially a new mom. And I just really didn't want that. And I didn't have any NICU time with my secondborn, my first daughter. And it was great just being able to bring her home and continue our lives. And she was perfectly healthy. I had her at 39 weeks. And so that's what I was really hoping for with this one. And so I really wanted to hang on like at least one more week. I wanted to have her at 37 weeks because I knew she was coming early. I knew I was not going to make it to 40 weeks with her. And considering the last couple weeks, like 2 to 3 weeks before I had her, she was just dropping and dropping and dropping, and you could see it in my belly. And I had people telling me, gosh, you look so low. And I just also had that mother's intuition that she was going to be here soon. I knew it. I didn't know when, but I knew she was going to be here soon. And so anyways, I kind of got off topic and forgot where I was. But that day, I had done the last few minute things. I was trying to rest because I didn't want to push it. I did not want her to come that early anyway. I was ready to meet her, but wanted her to wait. So just kind of rested. And then that night, just did an easy dinner. And then I took a bath. I took a warm bath because I think my back started hurting a little bit. And also, I just was trying to relax. I was trying to be so relaxed. And I took a bath for maybe about 40 minutes. After my bath, I laid down with my daughter and my husband. My son was already asleep, and we were watching Lion King, trying to get our daughter to sleep. And in the middle of watching the movie, I had some pains, some more of those contractions that I had around noon. They were a little bit longer and a little bit stronger. But again, by no means did I think I was in labor. I had a couple of those, and then I started dozing off. And I woke up after falling asleep around 10:15, 10:20. I think it was about 10:20 when I looked at the clock, with my first very painful contraction. It woke me up out of a dead sleep. And I was in a lot of pain, and it felt like it had lasted quite a while. But I just thought that it was another contraction that was just going to come and pass. Nothing was happening regularly. So I had that very first painful contraction around 10:20 p.m. After that passed, I tried laying back down and going to sleep, and woke up with another one a few minutes later, or popped up with another one. So I decided to get up, and I was kind of shaking from the pain, which happens when you're in labor. You will start shaking. And I was kind of shaking, and I got up to use the bathroom because I didn't know, my stomach was kind of in knots at that point. So I used the bathroom, and then I felt another contraction coming on. So I hurried up and I got off the toilet, and I just kind of leaned against the counter and spread my hips a little bit and was kind of swaying back and forth. And my husband, I could tell, was just so stressed out. And I just looked at him because I really didn't think that it was happening. I just thought I was having some painful contractions, but I didn't think it was the real thing, because these contractions felt different than my contractions that I had with my daughter, my other daughter. I felt like I was having strong period cramps, and it like kind of covered my whole stomach. These were like, I know it sounds weird, but it felt like someone was drilling into my hip bones, or taking their hands and just like trying to separate my bones. Like it, gosh, I can't even describe. I don't even have the right words to describe to make you understand what it felt like, but they felt like different contractions. They were really, I keep wanting to say stingy, but not stingy, sharp. They were really sharp. And, but I looked at my husband and I said, stop worrying about me. Go to sleep. You work tomorrow morning, and I will wake you up if I need you. Well, he's like, okay, well, that's not going to happen, but I'll try. And so he's laying there with his eyes closed, and then it was like, I started having contractions 5 minutes apart. And they were only 5 minutes apart for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And then they were back to back. Like I had maybe 30 seconds to a minute between each one. And when that started happening, then I was like, okay, I have no idea how dilated I am, because a couple of weeks before that, or maybe a week before this, I had gone to the doctor, and I was about 1 to 2 centimeters already. So when my contractions, from what I remember of being in labor with my last one, when your contractions are back to back and not really letting up, you're pretty far along. And so I was really scared. I did not want to have my baby at home. but I knew that things were progressing really fast. So I woke up my husband, not that he ever fell asleep, but I just like called him from the other room, and this was maybe 15 to 20 minutes after I got out of bed. Probably closer to 15. It happened really fast. So I told my husband, I said, I think it's time you call your mom, because she was going to take the other 2 kids for us. So he calls his mom. He gets the kids all in the car. I get in the car. And the whole way to the hospital was like a giant contraction, it felt like. Like, we only live, well, without traffic, we live 5 to 7 minutes away from the hospital. With traffic, it could take up to like 10 minutes. And, of course, we got stuck behind a slow car, someone that was not even going the speed limit, but that's beside the point, you know, just our luck in that moment. So we get to the hospital by 11:15 p.m. Josh's mom got there maybe just a couple minutes after we did and got the kids from him. I told him to go park the car. He dropped me off in front, and I walked in and just told them, I am pretty sure I'm in labor. They didn't even ask questions because they could see how much pain I was in. They just brought me straight back. And they checked me, and I was, I think they said like 3 to a 4, which was not as far along as I thought I was, which was good though. But still, things happened very fast. They asked me if I wanted an epidural, and I said yes. And by the way, a lot of moms feel shame about getting epidurals. Don't. Like, just don't. Because it's so painful. And some people have a higher pain tolerance, or just are better at dealing with pain. I am not good with dealing with pain, and I have had an epidural with every child. But I wanted my epidural later on, because that's how it happened with my other daughter. I did not get my epidural till I was 8 centimeters dilated, and they didn't know that I was 8 centimeters until after I had gotten the epidural. They checked me right after he got done with it, and I was 8 centimeters. So, but it worked out perfect because the pain had, or the medicine had like set in just enough time that I didn't feel the crowning, but I could still feel where I was pushing, and she came out very smooth. And so this time around, I wanted it to be similar to that. Well, I was already a 3 to a 4, and every time a contraction would come on, man, I was screaming so loud because it was like the only thing I could do to just relieve some sort of pain or just get it out. Yeah, I was screaming pretty loud. I don't remember screaming like that with my other children, but anyways, they asked about the epidural. I said, I want to wait a little bit longer. And they said, okay, well, we just want to remind you, it takes time for the anesthesiologist to get down here. It's another 20 minutes to prep, and it's another 20 minutes to get the epidural done, and you're moving pretty fast. Then another contraction came on, and I said, get him down here. And so luckily I was, from what I saw, I was the only one in labor and delivery. There might have been people in a couple other rooms. I don't know. And it was so special to me too, because when they brought me to a room, it was the same room that I gave birth to my son in. My daughter, I had her in Reno. So I just thought it was really cool that at this hospital, I was able to have 2 of my children in the same room. So they brought me to that room, and when they got me in that room, which was maybe 15 to 20 minutes after, I said, call the anesthesiologist down here, they got me in that room and checked me, and I was out of 5. So yes, I was moving pretty fast. Anesthesiologist got down there, and my doctor showed up, and I was also super blessed too, because my doctor, he's an awesome doctor. I just love him. And he was actually able to deliver her. My last two babies, the doctor that I start with is not the doctor that delivered them. And that was probably more so my fault with my last daughter, because my last daughter started with my doctor that I have now. But then we ended up moving to Reno halfway through my pregnancy, so he was not able to deliver her. And I had a great doctor there that delivered her. Things went very smooth, but it was very special. It's very special when you have that bond with your doctor and they know you, and you know them, and you're comfortable with them. So it was really nice that he was able to deliver her. I was very happy about that, and he got there, and he asked if I wanted him to break my water, and I said no, because with Avery, my water broke on its own around 8.5 centimeters, and I just kind of wanted things to happen as naturally as possible this time. And things were happening pretty natural anyway. Things were moving very quickly on their own. The only thing that was not natural was the epidural. And sure enough, shortly after he asked to break my water and I said no, my water broke on its own. But it was kind of a slower leak. So he did end up coming back in right after I got the epidural. And the epidural moved pretty quickly too. The anesthesiologist got right down there. He got things set up. And it was kind of funny because I was really afraid that the anesthesiologist wasn't going to get there in time before I had her, because things were moving so fast. And I'm like just crying and I'm yelling and I'm just like, he needs to get down here. I can't have this baby without the epidural. And the nurse, she was an older nurse, but she was so wonderful. Her name was Trish. And she's like, honey, I have delivered 5 babies naturally. You can do this. And I'm like, no, I can't. She goes, yes, you can, but you need to start focusing on your breathing, because if you don't, and the anesthesiologist gets down here and you move while he's trying to do what he's doing, he's just going to leave. And then I was like, okay. And so I really started focusing on my breathing. And because, again, things were moving so fast, he was kind of rushing through it. And I was in the middle of a contraction when he was putting the numbing medicine in. And he said, do you feel that in the center of your back? And I thought that I did. And I said, yes. But really, it was more so on my right side than my left. So I was still able to feel contractions like kind of on my left side, but they weren't as intense, and it was kind of nice because I was still able to feel when a contraction was coming on. And and after they insert the numbing medicine, I think they're supposed to wait like 20 minutes before they finish, but he didn't, because it was getting close to me having to push. And I kid you not, I got the epidural. The doctor came in. He finished breaking my water because it was kind of a slower leak. And then after he did that, they checked me and they're like, you're a 9.9. So I went to a 5 to a 9.9 in like an hour, maybe. It felt like shorter than that, but time-wise, I think it was close to an hour. This was right around a little after midnight, I think. I think it was like around 12:30 that I was like a 9.9. And then a little while later, maybe, I don't know, closer to 1. So yeah, maybe 25 minutes later, the nurse, Trish, was like, okay, let's check that water. And she was checking my water flow. And they had told me before that, when you're feeling pressure, like you've got to poop, let us know, because that means that the baby's coming out. And I don't know if it was how quickly he had to do the epidural, but I got pretty numb pretty fast, and I couldn't feel anything. And that was like one of my worst fears, because I didn't want to be completely numb at the point of having to push her out. I went through that with my son, and it took a lot longer to get him out, and the cord was wrapped around his neck because I could not feel anything. And it was so nice with Avery's birth that I was actually able to feel where I was pushing, and just the edge of, like, the epidural just took the edge off of the pain. But this time I was very numb, and I couldn't feel anything, and I was sitting there talking to Josh, and so the nurse decides to check how my water flow's coming and all this, and at this point, I think they knew I was at a 10. I'm telling this to you guys like in the best way that I remember. When you're going through labor, a lot of things really seem to be a blur, or time and situations just kind of blend together. So I think I'm saying this in the right timeline, but these are just things that happened that I remember. So she went to check, something going on down there, and she checks, she lifts up the blanket, looks, and she's like, oh, I can see the baby's head. She's on her way out, so let me go grab the doctor. So she went and grabbed the doctor, and he came in, he got, all situated, got the bed all ready, and this was just shortly after 1 a.m. And I finally got her out at 1:43 a.m. It was very hard to push because I could not feel a dang thing. And they kept telling me, push with your butt, push with your butt. And I knew that. I mean, I've given birth to 2 other children, but I literally could not feel my butt. I couldn't feel my butt. I couldn't feel the upper part of my legs. So it was a lot harder to get her out. It took a lot longer to push. It took longer to wait for the contractions to start, to push again. And so she probably would have been out sooner had I not gotten the epidural right away, or didn't have the epidural at all. She probably would have slipped out, hiccup, a whole lot faster. But things happened the way that they did, and she came out healthy. She was perfectly healthy.
There we go. There we go. Here, I think. Good. Grab a stethoscope and listen to her. Hi, sweetheart. We probably should have called her RT.
I kept thinking of that.
What's that?
I kept thinking that, but I thought you were waiting
No, I didn't even think
closer.
about it.
Kind of snuck up on us.
She's nice and comfy again.
Just not okay. Let me put a set on her. We might just have our kid come in.
Are you gonna want more gas?
I mean, I don't as a breath is in there.
Okay.
There's not much of a cord segment though either.
Little fingers.
Alright.
You want it at 250?
They noticed, because one of the things that they had to check was her breathing, because she was still premature. And at first they thought that she was doing okay. She didn't seem like she was struggling too bad. And they had given me the steroid before, like when I was in labor, to mature her lungs. But honestly, my labor went so fast that I don't think that it had enough time to really help anything. but she was 5 pounds, 5 ounces, and was she 18 and 3/4 long? I think I'm saying that right. I think that's what she was, 18 and 3/4 inches. So she was my biggest baby. She was still small, but my biggest baby that I've had. And they just kept looking at her, and the way her chest was, and she was grunting a lot, and her nostrils were kind of flaring. Those are all signs that she was really struggling to breathe. Now, they did give me a 2-hour window to do skin to skin with her, and sometimes that kind of helps progress things. But after that 2 hours, and they had the respiratory therapist come in 2 different times, she was struggling, and they had to go get her on CPAP. And they didn't think that it was that bad. They did not think that she was going to spend any more than a few days in the NICU. And the next morning, the NICU doctor had come in, and he told me that she was worse than they thought. So our lungs produce something called surfactant, and that's what helps them enlarge when we breathe in and breathe out. And she was not producing any surfactant. So they have I don't know if I'm saying it right, like an artificial one or like a substitute surfactant, and they had to intubate her and put surfactant into her lungs. And that was very, very heartbreaking for me, because I was hoping that she would be out of the NICU before I went home. I was able to spend 3 days in the hospital, and after that they had to discharge me, and it was the hardest thing to have to leave her. I could not even go in and see her before I left the hospital, because I couldn't stop crying. And when I finally got it together, I didn't want to make myself start crying again. So basically, they had to intubate her, and once she was past 48 hours old, they couldn't do the procedure again. So they were really hoping it would work the first time, which it did. But she was on the CPAP for almost a week, or about a week. And then and I just went and saw her every chance that I could, and then they were able to sorry guys, I'm pausing, but I'm just trying to remember things. These last 3 weeks have honestly been just crazy, insane. It's been 3.5 weeks since she's been born. This Thursday will be 4 weeks. Cannot even believe that. And I'm just getting around to cleaning my house. Not last night, but the night before, I was up from after dinner until like after 10 o'clock p.m. just cleaning my downstairs, because my house has just been such a mess, and it's embarrassing. I don't like my house to be a mess, and also clutter gives me anxiety, and I cannot stand the clutter. And so I've been just trying to take care of that, but it just is not easy when you've got 2 kids that just want attention, and then her who needs the attention. So can't remember if I said her name at the beginning of this video, but this is Olivia. You guys knew that we were struggling with a name, and we decided to come up with Olivia. So to finish Olivia's story, I've already told my story, now I'm going to finish Olivia's story. about a week and a half after being in the NICU, they did send her upstairs to the special cares nursery, which is pretty much like NICU part 2 is what I like to call it. They go to the special cares nursery before they get discharged from the hospital. And up in the special cares nursery, they have their own room, and mom and dad can stay with her. So I spent a lot of time staying the night there with her. There were some nights that I did have to come home so that I could take the kids to school in the morning and give them a little bit of mom time and try and get the house together. And then she started decreasing again. Her oxygen levels were dropping. They were not doing great, and the NICU doctor kept prolonging her stay there. I can't tell you how many times they told me she was ready to come home, and then I would hear from the doctor and they'd say, we have to keep her another day or two. Or there was one time they had to put a nose cannula. So she had gotten, when she got off the CPAP machine, they put a nose cannula in her nose, just the little prongs that go in the nose, and it was basically no oxygen support. They were not giving her oxygen at that point. It was just room air, and it was just kind of being forced into her lungs a little bit. And when she came off the cannula, they have to monitor her for 2 days straight to make sure she does okay off the cannula. And about a day into it, they had to put the cannula back on because she was just struggling. And I fell apart because I just wanted her home. I wanted her home so bad. It was so stressful dividing my time between there and here, and my kids here, and then I'm her mom there, and it was very heartbreaking, and it was very stressful, and yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But they finally got her off the cannula again after a couple days, and then they watched her a couple days more, and they actually watched her for 4 days off of the cannula because there were points, like I said, where her oxygen levels were dropping. They were not sure if they were going to have to put her back on the cannula. She would go into these long periods of desats from anywhere from a half hour to an hour to 10 minutes, and they were really concerned about that. So that was a sign to me I needed to start staying with her again. So I started staying with her overnight for about 3 nights, and she did amazing while I was there. She had little to no desats. The desats that she did have, she would bounce right back up. She would desat into like the 70s, sometimes the 80s, and then she'd pop right back up into the 90s, which is what they were looking for. So luckily, she was able to come home last Tuesday, and had she been there a couple days more, she would have been there for 3 weeks. So it was completely unexpected for her to be in there that long, but she was, and she's doing great now. She is a great eater. I kid you not, this kid is gonna chunk up real fast. She eats a lot. And yeah, she's adjusting to brother and sister. She's not used to the loudness, and they're very grabby and hyper. Sorry, my mouth was getting a little dry. But she's doing great. She's adjusting great, and she's growing, and took her to her first doctor's appointment the other day, and she's weighing in at 6 pounds. How many ounces? 3.2 ounces. When she left the hospital, she was 6 pounds 2 ounces. And so she's continuing to gain weight, and she's just doing great. We're both doing great, huh, baby? And I'm just so happy to have you home. Well, anyways, guys, that is my birth story. I really hope I didn't leave anything out, because this was so Sorry, my nose is all stuffy, like way in the back, and I just can't clear it. But it was really important for me to share this with you guys. I could not wait to share my birth story with you guys. And yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of her. I'm still very sad that my pregnancy is over. I did not reach that point in my pregnancy where I was like, I'm just so tired of this. I'm ready for it to be done. I did not reach that point, and I had told you guys before it was a very bittersweet feeling because I couldn't wait to see her. And there were definitely certain things about pregnancy that I was ready to be done with. But at the same time, because this was my last one, I was trying to just enjoy every part of it that I could because I wasn't going to get those moments back. So, oh, are you waking up? Are you waking up? Are you going to show everybody your pretty eyes? No, not yet. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will insert some more clips if I haven't already yet, either videos or pictures that were taken during the labor, after the labor, in the NICU, and there are not pictures that show parts of the NICU because I cannot do that, obviously. Just simple ones of her while she was in there. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you are going through a similar situation where your baby is in the NICU, I know it's hard. It's definitely hard, especially when you've got other kids at home that need your attention as well. But it's gonna get better. They're not gonna be in there forever, and just try and be patient. I know it's so much easier said than done, but it will get better, and just have hope and pray a lot. I had so many people praying for her, so many people, friends, family, my entire church family was praying for her. We were praying for her, and she came out amazing. So if you're going through a similar situation, I'll be praying for you and any other mom that's going through it, because it really takes a strong mom to be dedicated to your child when they're in the NICU. It's very hard. There were a couple points where I was ready to give up. You know, you're dealing with postpartum depression, or not necessarily postpartum depression, but postpartum hormones and being emotional, and then you're going through separation anxiety. And there was definitely points where I was like, it's easier if I just stay away and just stay dedicated to my kids at home, and when she's out, she's out. But then I had to rethink and be like, no, this is your child. You need to fight for her, and it's not about you. It's about her coming home when she's ready. You don't want her to come home when she's not ready and something bad happen. So I just had to keep reminding myself about that. It's not about me. It's about her. And that really helped me through. So stay strong if you're going through a similar situation. If you're still pregnant, all the best of luck to you with your labor. And please like and subscribe. I cannot wait to start making videos again. This whole long pause that I've been taking to, deal with situations with her has been killing me, because I've got all these video ideas in my head, and I just have not had the time to do it. And I think you guys can understand that. But now I'm getting a little bit more time opening up, and I just can't wait to dive into what's next in this new chapter with my channel. Because now it's not going to be pregnancy updates. It's going to be postpartum updates. It's going to be day in the lives. It's going to be cleaning, cooking. It's going to be fun. And I really hope you guys stick around to just watch our family grow. If you started with us at the very beginning of this pregnancy, I just really hope that you stick around. Every subscriber is very important to me, and I am just so blessed that you took a chance on my channel. It's still a brand new channel, just starting out, and it's very hard to just keep it going sometimes, but it's what I want to do, and it's fun for me. It's a hobby for me, and so yeah, I just can't wait to do more for you guys, and for you guys to stick around. Anyways, I'm rambling on like I always do. I tend to do that when I don't really know how to close out the video, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day. See you in my next video.